Hello traders, thank you for joining me. I am just making preparations for the week ahead and just wanted to share that with you. What I'm seeing here is this is a very bullish move. This is one of the most powerful moves of the year because we had a good move out of February. Once we hit a support level in early part of February, but then we got very small, jerky, grinding moves here. I mean, it ground in a nice uptrend, but then dropped very fast in August, ground up in September, and then sold off from late September into early October, and here we are pushing back into a resistance area. So I can't deny that that is a big push up, but if you contrast that with the DAX, that to me has hit a major wall and could not push through, whereas the American markets pushed through on Friday. The DAX couldn't, and the Nikkei is very similar. A good bounce off that fib level, but we hit the daily 50 MA and we're trapped between the 50 and the 200. So whilst the US market is doing well, European markets, that's the FTSE. And the FTSE is even weak. That's the weakest market, and that's only just knocking into the daily 21 EMA. So the European markets are getting hit. Asian markets have lagged the main American markets. So what am I looking at here? Let's go back to the Dow. For data this week, we've got in the US, we've got durable goods. We've got very little on Monday. We have durable goods and consumer confidence in the US on Tuesday, but Wednesday we've got Fed Day. So what I think will happen is, I think we might see a little continuation of that in the early part of the week, but I think we might sort of drift lower into Fed Day, and then as long as the market likes whatever the Fed says, I think we could at least see 1700. So I'd expect to see some weakness in the early part of the week, and then a possible push into 17,000 and a retest of 17,250 in the coming week or two. Okay, I mean typically this time of year we do get a push up. I mean here in 2013 we pushed it up into late November and had a big drop in the early part of December before the run right into through the whole month of December. That was the move in December. So if we get a carbon copy of that, we might push a little higher, drag down, and then run up into the back end of the year just to retest the year's highs. At which point I would expect that to start to drift back and just run a repeat of this year. Okay, so I'm waiting to see if I can get a nice pullback in the early part of the week, and this is the level that is really interesting. 16,600 is a major line in the sand. It's 220 points above where we are now. There's a retest of the daily 200. I would like to see that in the early part of the week to buy that and then see if we can run up into the resistance area. Right, across to currencies, and on the currency front, the main data we've got coming up is, let me just look across the calendar. I've got New Zealand rates on Wednesday. It's pretty quiet on the Forex data front. So just a question of strength we might see in the dollar. Yeah, it's US GDP on Thursday, by the way. CAD GDP on Friday. Yeah, we are very quiet on European data fronts. It's a busy week for the US, quiet for Europe, which is potentially why we might see the European markets drift lower. European markets might drag the US market down. Right, Forex. I think this pound is back in play. I think that 50%, we've held the 50% at the back end of the week. That's the highs and the lows from July last year to July this year. I think that the fact we closed above 160 on Friday bodes well. We can't get above the daily 21 EMA, which is not good. I think that's potential head and shoulders. I'm seeing a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder. So the neckline is going to be just around this level here. So if we can hold this on Monday and start moving in here, I think we might at least pop to 162.50 at least, and possibly into 164 pound yen. That is a very, very nice move, and 175 looks as if we could see that in the early part of the week. This is mimicking the strength of the Dow. So any pullback to 173 would be a great asset. Would be a good opportunity, I should say. Let's look across the other pound pairs. Pound Aussie dollar is very flat. That's difficult to call until we get a close outside of this 184, 182 range. Pound CAD. Now this is potentially one of the nicest pound pairs. CAD GDP on Friday is expected to be flat again at 0. I think that could spring out of that. If that breaks above, that closes above 181, 182, I think we could start to see these highs again. I think that's a nice box play. We dipped outside of the box here in September. We're back in the box, and the top of the box could now be on the cards. I would look to buy that at 180.40. Pound Swissy. Yeah, see the pound coming into this new week. The pound is looking strong, as opposed to the Aussie US, which is flat. Well, if you compare the Aussie US and the pound US, they're very similar, and that Aussie US closed above the 21, which the pound US has not. Okay, so I like the pound yen a lot. That's a very clean chart. Euro. That is very weak. Potentially a test of 172. Good to see that retest and drop to 125. Not encouraging at all for the bulls. Euro yen. Yeah. Let's update that fibs. Let's put the fibs on this move here. So you can see last week's low tested the bottom of the fib zone. The fib zone being this area here. We've got the 50 and the 200 above us. I think we could run into this resistance here and potentially roll over. Although Thursday and Friday's close was good, so I'd expect some potential weakness and pullbacks to 135. If we hold 136, 135, then I think we can push to 140 again. Otherwise, I would expect that to be lower. But the pound yen and the pound CAD are my favourite charts. CAD yen is good. A little bit of a hangman there on Friday. CAD Swissy. And let's look at the CAD Swissy. $85.26 is a major line in the sand. We have already not quite touched it and come off of that, I think that might just roll over. We've had a lot of selling from early October into mid-October on this one. So far that is just a pullback. Let's look at the fibs on this most recent move. Let's put it back to that area. Yeah, so we pull into, so 86.40 was sold. We couldn't hold 85.50. Dropped to the bottom of the fib zone. So this is potentially a sell area here. This is a good analysis to do, because if you see a stock like this, then you can get ready to short the stock. I think that is getting ready to drop. No, that's not telling me anything. Okay. I'll keep an eye on that one for you and come back to you on that one. Oil. Is just clinging on to 80. And so we tend, with oil at the moment, we tend to consolidate and then drop. So here, in this cluster price here, we kept bumping into that resistance, finally failed at the 50 EMA. We are very low here, we're very extended to the downside. So I would sit tight, but if we come out of that 79.75, 82.70 area, close above 82.70, and then that could recover, but it's very weak. Very, very weak. The highs continue to sell. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I will do a stock video for the members, otherwise I will look forward to seeing you at 7 PM Greenwich Mean Time on Monday. Obviously the UK clocks have gone back now, so that is 1 PM Eastern Time, for a look at, we're going to do a big picture analysis using Fibonacci on some of these forex and stock charts, just to give us a clear indication of potential moves into the back end of the year. Okay, I think there's some interesting moves coming out and some great stocks. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and see you then.